Today's video, we are going to be using the Weber charcoal kettle, and we're going to be using the rotisserie attachment. And what more Canadian way to do this than hockey jersey, beer, shorts in a snowstorm. And we're getting into it right now. Just before we get started, let's clear some of the snow off of the kettle, and then we can get started on today's cook. And then that's the setup for the inside. I'm gonna have a water pan, fill that with one of the beers that we have over here. And then I have some leftover charcoal in the baskets, and I'm gonna top that up. So let's go get the chicken seasoned, and we can get all this started. We are inside now. We have our chicken. So this one here I got on sale for, I think it was like $3 or $4 a pound. So it's like $12.74. Let me know in the comments what the price of a whole chicken for you would be, depending on where you're watching from. So let's get this opened, and then we'll have it seasoned up. So we will just pour some oil over it to kind of coat it. It's already been trussed, so that's kind of like the good thing, because I've never trussed a chicken before, so it would probably be pretty bad if I tried to. Okay, it's oiled up. So now we will make our seasoning. And I always try and make seasoning that I can use the ingredients myself. I know there's like a ton of rubs out there that I do want to try, but the problem is getting it in Canada or being able to find it consistently. So with here, we have 1 tablespoon of black pepper, 1 tablespoon of granulated garlic, 1 tablespoon of paprika, 1 tablespoon of granulated onion, and then half of a tablespoon of ground mustard. So let's put all this into the container. Start with the mustard. Okay, and then we will give it a good shake. Before we season it, we should actually use the salt. So this is just kosher salt. So yeah, we can put this onto the chicken. With this, because it's going over the barbecue on the rotisserie, we don't necessarily have to worry too much about over salting it. Typically I would do a dry brine on it, but in this case, I wanted to see if I was in a rush and I wanted a rotisserie chicken, would I be able to do it? And how long would it take me? So far, I'm about 15 minutes in, and it's one of those things that, yeah, I'm just curious to see how it would be without the dry brine. Is it gonna be nicely seasoned? What's the flavor gonna be like? Never done rotisserie chicken on a charcoal before. So here's the seasoning that I mixed up. One thing that I forgot to mention was I'm just using regular vegetable oil just to kind of coat it, so hopefully make the skin a little bit crispy. So let's just get this seasoned, and then we will get the kettle all ready and set up the rotisserie, and I'll show you how to do that. I learned the hard way on that at Christmas time doing a turkey. So you can see the pepper, whoa, and the flavors are going to be really good at this. Season inside. Okay, I think that is good. Here we have our chicken's been seasoned. So now let's we'll put it on the spit. But before we do that, I wanted to show you what's over here, which is, it's just like onion, garlic, a hot pepper, some bay leaves, and then we have cumin seeds, peppercorn, cloves, and yellow mustard seeds. 1 beer, and then hot water. And all this will go into the water pan, and then the drippings from the actual chicken will go in to add flavor to the water pan, which we will use to make a gravy. My wife loves gravy, so I figure why not make a good smoky one. So let's get this kind of on the spit, and then we can get the kettle all heated up and ready to go. So it is important when you are putting this in that you have it centered. And one thing that I learned the hard way during Christmas with the turkey was if you don't put these tight, and that's why I have my little pliers here. This is the only fire version. It's not the actual Weber version. It will kind of stay. And then so we had it where, and we don't check it too often, where the bottom part of the turkey, which was the breast, which was the part that everybody wants, had actually burnt a little bit. So luckily we caught it in time, but you do want to kind of center it on here. That way it's more balanced and it will turn around. And then this here is, it's a counterweight. So we will, I'll show you how to use that when we go outside, where it will just help balance it. So the top part of the chicken, which is generally the heavier part, will actually stay face down if it's not balanced. So you just want to take as much pressure off of the motor as you want, or as you can. So let's pop this in. So actually, just to clarify, you want the chicken to actually be in the middle, not the spikes that will actually hold it in place. So let's get the chicken on, and then we will tighten this side up, and then we will hopefully be ready to go. Okay, so that's on. These tips are probably going to pop off, but that's okay because we will use them for the gravy. Okay, so that's on, and I can tell that I will have to center it a little bit better. That looks better. Okay. And again, you just want to make sure these are tight so that you don't have it where it just stops turning. Okay, so that's pretty good. So this is kind of what we're stuck with. Let me just tuck these in here so that they don't burn. Okay, okay, so let's get the kettle started. If you've watched my other videos, you know the hack that I use to light the charcoal. Here it is in super speed. Okay, we are almost there, so we can start with the gravy. So we're just gonna have some onions, some garlic, and because I'm gonna strain it, I didn't take any of the skin off or nothing. Hot pepper. We won't pop the seeds because then it will make it spicy. And then all of the seeds, and then what I also like to do is the leftover seasoning. That way nothing goes to waste. Boiling water. That way it helps keep the temps up high. Steaming everything up. And then one beer. So we're going to cover this up. That's going to kind of dilute a little bit, boil down, so we'll be left with a bunch of flavor. So let's go get the charcoal and we will get started. There's Riley. He's waiting for the barbecue. So it's good enough. You can see it's close to the top. Not perfect yet. Ooh, it's hot. For this, try and get it as even as possible so it's an even cook. So everything is kind of getting warmed up. I'll cover it up, let it get to temperature a little bit, bottom vent. Clean it out a little bit. It's wide open. And then for now, we will leave the top open as well to get to temperature. So let me go clean up this mess and we'll bring the chicken on out when it is ready. Okay, welcome back. The kettle is up to temp. It's rocking about 350 degrees and the smoke is coming out clear. We are in a snowstorm, so I don't know how well the temperatures are going to be maintained. So let's get everything kind of started. And I do anticipate having to add some charcoal at some point. So that is in there, and kind of turn this on, make sure it's everything is going well. Make sure it's turning, no interference. And you can see the drip tray for the gravy, and I think it's going to turn out quite deliciously. Maybe we will turn this a little bit just to line up with the drip tray, because I do not want to lose those drippings. It will be for the gravy. So that is covered. We will bring it back up to temperature, and then I think we should be good. So we'll check on it in about an hour, but I will maintain the temps just to make sure that we're not losing too much. Now, one thing, this here is actually the counterweight, so it doesn't seem like there's much interference at all. So I don't have to play with it too much, but at Christmas time, I had a turkey, and it was probably like I don't know, maybe a 15-pound turkey. And it was just the rotisserie kind of got stuck. It wasn't counterbalanced properly. Plus it came out because it wasn't even. There was a whole bunch of learning curves on that, but it was one of those things that you learn from it. And so I've balanced it now, and I will make sure that the chicken is still kind of turning, and you can see the rotisserie, the spit, that's what they call it, is there. My vents are about half covered. One of them is completely covered because I do have the temperature gauge on it. My kettle does not have a, what do you want to call it? A built-in temp gauge, so I kind of bought that one. I'll slip it in there, and we'll go from there. So I will see you back in about an hour. Okay, so it's been for about an hour. The highest the temps got was 500. Right now we're sitting at around 390, which I feel is probably too hot, but again, we'll see by the taste test. So let's take the lid off and see kind of how it's looking. It smells great. Yeah, it's looking really good. We'll just do a temp. Let me shut it off. There we go. Okay, so we'll do the breast. It's going in like butter. I don't know what that means. It's at like 175, 177. I'll check the thigh. It's at 182, 186. So we are done. We made great timing. Then right there at 182. So we are good. Let's take it off, and then we'll meet you back inside. So all in all, this has been an even cook, and that's the nice thing with the rotisserie, is because it doesn't sit on one side consistently for too long, it does give you that nice even cook, 360 degrees around the bird. Again, just to make sure on the spit that it's balanced and it's even. So I'm going to wrap it in foil here because I have some running around to do, and I would like it to be still kind of warm, especially after making the gravy and all of that. So we'll just wrap it, leave it here, and then I will pop this in the oven, not on, of course. Okay, now we are at the gravy making part. So these are all of the juices from the turkey. So you've had it where it's been sitting there for about an hour. It's been hot. I put onions and all the other stuff in there. It's nice to just stir it around to help mix the flavors. From a Gordon Ramsay recipe, I saw like boil and kind of crush. That's kind of what I'm doing when I'm stirring. So it's up to a simmer. I'm reducing it a little bit. And then now I'm just going to pour it through a strainer so that all of the kind of stuff that's been in there separates from the liquid. It's reduced down a little bit, and I'm going to reduce it down further. But I do want to kind of get the juices out from all of that goodness that's in there. And that's kind of why I'm just pressing down. So you can see it's got a good consistency. All in all, I'm pretty impressed with the gravies, especially the smell that's coming off it at this point is, yeah, it's just really nice. So we will put it back into the pan. I did leave the pan on, it burnt everything, so I had to wipe it, put it back on, so it's boiling nicely. And so we'll just let it simmer for a little bit, just stir it. That way it just kind of gets that silky consistency, which is important when you are making gravy. The smell is amazing. And I will be adding this. It's better than bouillon. I really like this. I find it's good because you always have like chicken broth on hand. It's nice to add to the gravies. So it'll just help give it more of that chicken flavor. Just important to stir as you go along so that it just mixes properly. I'm just going to add some salt. I probably, if I wasn't recording, would have used the salt that you kind of grind in, but I was just going for easy. Granulated garlic, add that in, just helps add some flavor. And then last but not least, we'll throw in some pepper. I've always liked pepper, especially in gravies. So this here is just, it's got a, it's like a peppery garlic flavor in the gravy along with that, the chicken. And then can't go wrong with any of that Maggi seasoning. That stuff goes in everything. And then I'm fast forwarding the cornstarch. I should have added water to the cornstarch before adding it in here. This made me have to stir it a lot because the cornstarch just kind of clumped. So that's one thing that I would have done differently. And so here is the pour of gravy into the gravy pot. So it's could have been a little thicker, but all in all, the flavors were good, and it was nice for the chicken. And there we have it. The gravy is done. Okay, welcome back. We are kind of done everything, so now it's the best part. It's the grand reveal, and we will cut the chicken up to see how it is, and then we will do the final taste test. So let me just, I've tinted it with foil, so it is warm, but not super, super hot. So let's just see what it looks like. So we'll start off by taking the twine. This was used to truss the chicken. And I believe they call it butcher's floss. That's what I heard. So we can start by cutting off the wing and just follow it at the joint. That way we can see kind of what we are left with. We're gonna look for something that's called the oyster meat, which is on the back, which I believe is this piece right here. So we will save that one. So a little bit more of it. Should have cut it off earlier, but that's something that you can look for. So that's the legs. And then we will kind of go through the breastbone here. So the back has been removed. And then, so we have the breast. So with the breast, the wings, and then the thighs, and then this here piece is the oyster. So let's cut into this and see how it is cooked. Ooh, it's very tender, juicy, not dry at all. Yeah. Okay, so now cut a piece and try it. Yeah, it's very flavorful and melts in your mouth, so it is another success, except for the oyster. I did lose one of them, but other than that, it turned out pretty good. I'm happy with it. This is the gravy that I made earlier while we were kind of waiting, and it has a smokiness to it, and it's just very flavorful. So all in all, I would say that this recipe, it worked. Even with the snow, everything was good. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, I'm not a professional barbecue pitmaster. I am just having fun with this and learning as I go. Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video if you did. Thanks for watching. Be sure to check out the other videos on my channel, and until next time.